Good morning, good morning. Was it me or did that countdown go really fast? I'm watching it going, wait, that's hectic. Welcome to day 9 of the 10-day Crush Your Inner Critic series. If this is the first time you're joining these mindset mornings, it's good to have you here. And you can access all the other trainings this week through my website by clicking on the action steps link below. And today is about the 9 steps for success. Yesterday we talked about the concept of words and pictures, how to use them, the need for specificity, and how all of that relates to setting yourself up for successful goal achievement. And if this is the first time you're joining me, I'm Pamela Hartnoll, founder and CEO of Mindfit Mastery and your empowerment strategist. And if you've been here every day, thank you. I'm deeply grateful to you. Good morning, Mark Sullivan. And I am thankful that you have spent this time with me. I hope you've got a lot and you've had some great value along the way. So today I want to share a process that I use, and I found that the 9 most useful steps to stay on track when I'm setting and achieving my goals, because nothing ever flows smoothly. So I've put them in 9 steps, and there's a flowchart with all of these steps that you can follow at the end, but I'll walk you through it. So step 1 then is good morning, Jen. Good morning, good morning. See you for toast and coffee later. And Dream Maniac says, Dream Maniac says, good morning from Dream Maniac team, Damien and JP. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you? So step 1 then is create a flowchart. So you've got to have a visual. And we've talked about this throughout the whole of the week. So today really is just about consolidating and showing you how to put it into something practical and logical. So create a flowchart with your interim action sheets leading to your action steps, leading to your main goal, and have a big visual at the end of what that goal is. And I should actually have brought mine in to show you. So step 2, and there it is. Beautiful! The technology is working today. So there's the steps. So step 2 is write out your big why in bold and make that as prominent as possible and have it everywhere. I have it on my phone, so an alarm goes off every couple of hours, and it just reminds me of the goal that I'm setting. And it's everywhere in my house. And the reason I have it everywhere, obviously, I think I've said to you before, it serves as prompts as to what you're aiming for and why you're going there, because you've got your, this is my goal and this is why. So you have it written as well as a visual. And it's really good for when you hit a speed bump or you're getting knocked off course and you start to feel a little bit unmotivated and it's all getting a bit too hard. And when you've got your why, it's reminding you, this is why you started this in the first place. And our Dream Maniac says, visual reminders around the premise. How great. We use it all over our office. Yeah, brilliant. It's actually really good. I have positive quotes and statements around too. And you probably can't see that one behind me because it's beyond my head. But anyway, so it reminds you of why you started that in the first place. And remember, you should have created a contingency plan for those speed bumps and when you're meeting resistance anyway. So you already know ahead of time. So step 3 then is to enlist an accountability buddy. And I don't always do this, but I did need to when I first started. So you may need someone to help you stay accountable, to pick you up when you feel unmotivated, or you just need a little bit of inspiration. It's good to have that support and backup. The only problem with it, you've got to make sure they're not doing any or all of the thinking and the driving, because otherwise, guess whose goals you're going to end up living and materializing. All right, good. So step 4 then is how to set yourself up with some treats, things that make you feel like they're real rewards, okay? That you wouldn't normally do, like a manicure or a pedicure, a facial spa. Greetings from the New York office of Intentional. Yay! Good morning, good morning. Manicures and pedicures and facials, and that's just for the boys. I'm kidding. Seriously. Think of some small and medium large treats that you can have. It's a bit like an adult stuff chart, you know. You can even include those treats in your flow chart. So maybe they'll act as an added incentive as you work through your action steps towards your main goal. Like one of my biggest treats is chocolate. I absolutely love chocolate. And I used to buy those big family bars and break it all into little squares and think, I'll have some tonight, some tomorrow. And then, since the bar's open, it's like, gone. I can't help myself. So now I keep it as a treat. And if I've hit a speed bump and I haven't let that resistance keep me off track or give up altogether, I think I did really well today. I'm going to have that bar of chocolate. maybe with a glass of wine. So it's just another incentive. So think about how you're going to get knocked off track and what you can do to encourage you to get back. And Sebastian Arne says, I have had more mani and pedis in a month than a woman has in a year. I'm not doubting that. I wasn't being like, sexist or anything. It was just, okay, anyway. Not everything works out the way you think it will or feel it should when you work in your plan. So that's why step 5 is to plan ahead. I'm a big planner, and I like to know what's coming, but I'm not stuck on that. So I just know that it's not about having a plan B, because you shouldn't have a plan B, because that means you think that plan A might not work. It's about going, if that gets knocked off track, they can always do that. So it's just having some sort of contingency plan, because things do change. And at some point you may need to revisit and rethink, like even your interim goals, and then just tweak your action steps or change some of those steps entirely. And it's absolutely fine to do that. Nothing's ever set in concrete. Some of those things may not even be necessary anymore. You might have thought they were necessary to what you were doing, but something's changed. You've met someone else, or done something different, and all of a sudden something else materializes, and you may find that the whole thing changes. So, and then just by adding a few new different steps and strategies, you can make the whole plan work even better. So it's about being flexible, right? So maybe I should have called that flexibility. Just so long as you're moving in the same direction. It's like road detours. Right? My partner was driving to Coffs yesterday, and he had to go. There was an accident on the road, and he had to go around all the way around the houses and off down this street and off down that area. And it was a massive big detour. I think it took him an hour out of his way, but he was still heading in the same direction. The destination was the same, but the journey changed. So that's our goals. When we're reaching our goals, the destination is where I want it to be, but the pathway to get there might change a little bit along the way. So just make sure when you're doing those changes, you're not changing your mind entirely and giving up, because there is a difference, and there's probably a fine line there, which is why I've made step 6 commitment. So step 6 is about commitment, and for me, this is about, you have to decide who you want to be and how you want to show up in life, right? So when you're making change, that's when you're going to be rigidly tested, along with that commitment to yourself. And if you were here earlier in the week, you remember we talked about the difference between being committed as opposed to being interested. And that shows up when you hit resistance, and when all of a sudden things start getting a little bit tricky. And you may need to reset. You may need to stop and pause and give yourself the time and space to think about where you're going and why you've started making changes in the first place. And remember, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So step 7, it shows on there on your action flowchart. I love that. And you're going to be able to download this, by the way, so you can follow it. Is to remember to take action, because nothing changes if nothing changes. And there's a brilliant Einstein quote that talks about the definition of madness, and doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So you need to take considered actions then, no matter how small those actions are. And that's vital to staying on track. And sometimes you may have your steps set out, and then that step needs to be broken down as well. So you're reaching that goal you've mapped out, strategized for yourself, give yourself space to break it down a little bit more, or go off track a little bit, but come back on. But whatever you do, you need to do what step 8, the thing I've set out in step 8, and that's to set a time limit. All right, there's actually a SMART goal system you can follow, and some of these things are included there, but set a time limit and include that in your action steps and your treats and on your flowchart, and have your deadlines and write them out in bold, because otherwise it'll happen sometime. But you need to commit to the latest time by which you'll do something and have something. And Augustine's just joins and says, I love these steps. Thank you, August. I find them really useful, because I can always see which step I'm at and then think, okay, I need to go back to that one and retweak something. So have a time limit and make a deal with yourself to stick to it. And that always reminds me of New Year's resolutions. Like, how many people out there have made a New Year's resolution? And yes, August, visual reminders are powerful motivators, 100%. And New Year's resolutions, who's made them? And I'm going to get fit 1st of January. And by the 31st of January, it was like, what resolution? Okay, you completely forget about it. So I want you to remember, who do I want to show up as? Do I want to show up as someone who gets unstuck the minute it gets too hard and goes down like a lead balloon? Or someone who puts the strategies in place and for those very moments, break through that resistance when it arises. I believe it's a choice. And Parker, thank you for joining us, Parker. This is great. Can we get a digital copy of this for ourselves to print, please? I believe there is one in the link below, Parker. Yeah, Parker. August, yes, please. I'd love a copy to print for my office desk. Yes, I would love that. That was awesome. And Reset Your Life says, yes, everyone who signs up to our website, that's for me. Everyone who signs up to our website will get a copy emailed to them. So that's fantastic. So all you have to do is go onto my website, fill out your details, and you can get access to all of the trainings and the worksheets as well, actually. So remember then why you have those strategies in place. They'll keep you focused and intentional. And if you do struggle to meet a deadline you've set, just go back to tip number 5 and revisit, rethink it, tweak, and reset. Whatever you do, just keep going. And then in step 9, which is not on there because we're doing that today, and that's about just keeping it real and keeping it sensible and practical. You know, make sure your goal is measurable and it's achievable and it represents the things that you actually want, they're accurate and true to life, really. And that's really about having healthy expectations of yourself. So I want you to make a deal with yourself to break up with perfectionism, because that's only going to sabotage your efforts. And remember, there's no failure, there's only feedback. Parker, thank you, says, makes total sense. So there's no failure, there's only feedback, because I think when you win, you learn something, and if you don't win, you just learn something else. Either way, you still win. I think all feedback is necessary for growth. So that's it for me today, and I want to leave you with that for you to remember what you've learned in the last 9 days now, and create your vision and your goals with real measured thinking and complete awareness of the consequences of making those changes and the impact they're going to have on everyone, as well as the benefits. And of course, be emotionally, mentally, and physically prepared for it, and have fun. Have fun with it. What's the point if you're not having fun? Remember to join my Facebook community, and you'll find that link below as well. And so, as every day, there's a worksheet that goes with the mini training, but today's is this instructional flowchart, so that you've got something visual that you can follow. And tomorrow, we will be talking about how to review, repeat, and reset. So that's it for me. Until tomorrow, then, I want you to do what I always want you to do, and that's to live your life large, live it with passion, reset, be authentic, and be you. Bye for now.